Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Marcus. Again, I know on the last post I said I was through, and I am through with that part of my ministry with politics. I had told you that the day that Donald Trump was chosen as your representative, that every day I would tell you about the evils of Donald Trump, just so you would know. And I couldn't actually see and recognize anything good during that period of time that Donald Trump was associated with. In fact, it was the way he carried himself. I mean, actually watching and observing him all the time through the presentation that was available to us, and recognizing that he represented everything that many people who are taught to be nice and kind and to treat people like they want to be treated, to care for one another, he acted the total opposite. In other words, he acted as if he was an agent for Satan. Yes, he acted as if he was an agent for Satan. He said stuff like he could kill folks and other people would let him get away with it. Why would they let him get away with it? Knowing that he was evil. That means he controlled evil. And so when he goes out here in the streets and what? Lie, project his sicknesses on other people. People see it. He sees it, he knows it. But those who are blind don't know it. They just follow. Well, I had indicated that during my presentation to you, that part of it would represent evil. That kind of activity, racism and bigotry, would represent evil. Lying and cheating and terror and war would represent evil. Satan, the devil, all of the stuff that goes with it. Nothing, just a whole ball of stuff. Evil, low down, devil, Satan, whatever. It's all the same thing. But on the other hand, if you recognize enough compassion and caring to eliminate suffering, to eliminate pain, recognize the way that people could actually live together and live a satisfied life, then that represented the opposite way. It didn't represent hell. It represented heaven. It represented not Satan, but we have heard about a guy named Jesus, or as being the representative of the Father God, of that invisible power that is superior to all powers we have been taught. And so as we have accepted that about evil, then we accept this about God, about Jesus, about truth, and about what is right. And so when we have been given the information and see it being presented, excuse me, by others in relationship to the new teaching, we get a chance to see what we actually see. And so when now watching all of this evilness take place, I got a chance to see how deep it is. They call it a deep state. The deep state, that basically means when the systems of the world are as evil as they can possibly be. So in America, the system here that operates in America is as evil as it can be. But at the same time, there are parties within the system that wants to take it to its lower depth. And the reason they want to take it to its lowest depth is to reap more benefits. See, the system itself is designed on exploitation. It is designed on taking advantage of other people's ignorance and setting up systems that would allow them to do that. That's just the system at large. But when you talk about the deep state, that's when people who know what's going on try to control what's going on to the degree that institutions, departments that play a major role in the presentation of that system are controlled. For instance, you get judges in a legal system. You got judges, so you make sure that you get judges in a system in positions of power that you control, that do what you want them to do. You make sure that you get politicians and Senate and House of Representatives that do what you want to do. You get Supreme Court justices. That's supposed to be the higher power. Even somehow it got higher than the Congress. But anyway, all controlled by a particular desire, a particular outcome. That's what you call the deep state. And that deep state works for whomever it wants. Because whether you know it or not, the deep state is partly running the state. Other people are just participants in the deep state. And they benefit from it. You know, like you are part of a society, and you can count on them to back you up. You know what I'm talking about? But all of this stuff goes on. So what I had said, ladies and gentlemen, when I looked at America and I see what's going on politically, the message that I left with you was this. It was that all systems are corrupt. And what's going on in America is corrupt. I indicated that when it comes down to the political parties, and I chose two, the Republican and the Democrat, the Republican Party and those who call themselves MAGA and who operates as the voice of Donald Trump, every last one of them on a ship to hell. They are as evil as it can be. That would mean Margaret Taylor Greene, Giuliani, what's it, the mayor's name? Giuliani, I can't get his name right. Cruz, the guy down in Texas, the guy down in Florida, Governor Vance, and all these kinds, and the guy in the Senate, the guy in the House of Representatives, those leadership positions there, they are all headed on that bandwagon to hell fast. McConnell, McCain, McCain, is that a name? McCain. I don't, well, anyway, no, not McCain. Not McCain. See, ladies and gentlemen, that happens sometimes when you got wearing your hair white. Not all people can move it like that, but when you get as old as some of them, that stuff happens. Even with Donald Trump, it happens with Biden, and it happens with me. But the point, the truth didn't go anywhere. And I haven't lost concept of the truth. Just couldn't think of that guy's name right then. He looked like anyway, from Kentucky. It'll come back in a minute. Anyway, so you find that you got everything controlled and manipulated. And you got innocent people out here in this country, innocent people in this world who trust you, who really think that you care about them, who really think they can put their faith in you, and that by putting their faith in you, everything's going to be all right. Yes, they recognize perhaps if they were listening to someone else, and that someone else, whether it's Democrat or Republican, let's just use them, failed them. They saw the people saw that they were saying one thing and not delivering. And so they decided to try another party. And then they can look back at the party that failed them and use hope that things are going to be all right now with the new party. And sometimes you get a little this, a little that, but you get the argumentations going on, and people are really just caught up in the mix. Everybody, what they used to say, with your team, their team. And you go through life, going through these different changes, never getting anything. But my message to you in regards to what's currently happening is if you're with Trump and those guys, you headed straight to hell. Because they do not give a damn about anybody but their own goals and their own objectives. And they will use everything that's available to them to achieve exactly what they want. And they don't care what other obstacles are put before you, they will still try it. Now, when it comes down to the Democrats, when you compare the Democrats and what the Democrats are offering to the American people, even with Ms. Harris as president and Mr. Waltz as vice president, what they're offering to the American people is like a plane ride to Paris compared to what you get from Donald Trump and the Republicans. Now, I don't want you to think all of the Republicans are MAGA. I don't want you to think that, but it doesn't matter. They are still Republicans, and they give their power to Republicans. And by being that, they give their power to MAGA. Now back to these Democrats again. As good as these Democrats are in comparison with the Republicans and MAGA and Trump, they still crooked. They are not as crooked as can be. They are not as crooked as MAGA, but they're crooked nonetheless. But they're so much better. And if you got to choose between what hurts you or what gives you a little reprieve, you're going to go for that. At least if you got any sense. So what is happening with the Republican Democratic 224, what is happening depends upon whether the American people got any sense or not. You can bet your last money that the system is in operation doing exactly to you, the people, what it's supposed to be doing, to control and manipulate you. But now, here you are. What are you fighting with? What you've been taught? What you've been hearing from your particular sponsors? You got family members at odds with one another, community members at odds with one another, all about the same things that's important to life, and neither of these groups got any solutions to it, but you're banging into them, trying to hang on to them anyway. Well, that's the situation we're in today, ladies and gentlemen. And that is the reason that you see me standing before you now, is because I'm telling you what I'm telling you, because I want to tell you the part that you have neglected and others seem like they don't want to tell you. There is one way out of this. There's one way out of this, and that means doing it right. The tree grows because the right process is in place. The rain falls because the right process is in place. And if you want a satisfied life, the right process got to be in place. And what that process is, you don't know. And you've been put here to learn what it is, but you're so out there that it appears that you will burn in hell before you learn. So my message here that I'm bringing to you now is not to make you, just like I'm not to make you be a Republican or Democrat. I just want to tell you that there's a God. And that God doesn't even consider you, leadership in your country, presidents, prime ministers, and kings and queens. You have no power in comparison to that. That power is responsible for the earth being here. What is your role? That power is responsible for all the resources that's on this earth that's used to do the things that they are used for, to benefit and to make sure that your needs are satisfied. What role do you play in it? My reason to be here, ladies and gentlemen, is to tell you that there is no human being on the face of the earth that's any better than another. There are people that got different goals and different objectives, different purposes in life. And just because theirs isn't yours, doesn't take away from theirs. So what I'm trying to say to you is that everybody on this earth got purpose. Everybody on this earth, come to this earth knowing that the resources, whatever is necessary for you to live on this earth is already here, prepared for you. And there are certain things that you have to do yourself to make sure that you get it. It's already here. You come here as what? A family. Everybody, as I mentioned, profits from this earth. And while you're here, you've been given a responsibility. You come here with a purpose to engage yourself in the process of running this earth. You come here, my friends, with the purpose of making sure that the earth is maintained, that the water is clean, that the air is fresh, and that the food is bountiful and nobody have to ever suffer hunger. You come here to make sure that you bring the knowledge that has been given to you and that which you've learned since you've been here to teach those who have a need to better themselves so that they can be better at whatever it is they do. So education is from the master plan. It is of that master plan. Just like housing. This is your purpose here. To make sure that whatever is needed is met. Healthcare. From the womb, from the point in time, the time you end up on this earth to the time you get out of here. That knowledge, you think just because you're a human being that you stand there and you can be, got medical knowledge that can help people beat sickness, you think that's you? Look at you. You think that's you? No, my friend, that's not you. You're the representation of something that is. And so, to make the story short, is that everything that men have accomplished, that human beings have accomplished on this earth, it is a gift from the power that you can't see. And it is the evidence that that power still lives and is available, living in each of us. But the fact that we have all of these problems, the fact that war, terror, all of that stuff, my message is to tell you that's an enemy trying to invade the truth. And when we have crime and violence, when we have terror, that indicates for all people that evil is running the show. Now, when you find little standing up here, there, somebody trying to file a lawsuit and make some justice here, that's what you might call a little better evil. But it's all on that ship headed straight to hell. In order to represent truth, you got to step out of hell. Or if you're in hell, they got to think you stepped out because there's so much truth right where you're standing. And if you don't hurry up and get out, they're going to put you out. I want you to know that it is the goal of truth to go down in darkness and stand up. It is the goal of somebody to go down there in Trump land and tell Trump that he's a demon from hell, and according to his conduct, and according to those who are following him, the same. It is the duty for somebody to go into these churches and tell them they're following a book. They don't know what they're doing. They're just taking somebody else's word, somebody else's description, and trying to put a little bit to their own and try to see who's smarter than the next. And all of the hell you can ever imagine is going around in the world. They might not be bombing in your town, but in someone's town it's being bombed. They might have you over here in a soup line here, but somewhere somebody's dying. Somebody's kids are being bombed up. And all you can say about your God is paying your tithes and making sure that you got your studies together so you can go somewhere and run and talk. I want you to know that you're headed straight to hell. Yes, I'm talking to you. I'm talking about everybody out here talking about loving God and standing up. The way they're standing up, you're headed straight to hell. God is not impressed. I don't care how many cars you got, how many women or husbands that you got or can get, or how much money you got. God is not impressed. You headed straight to hell. Why? Because the pain, because the suffering that people have to go through every day, and a scam is set up. Now, we're talking about a scam, but that's the way the world is set up. This is what people do. You look at it, you say, it happens to me. Now I'm mad, I don't want to take it, but that's the way the world is. How is it going to change when you're going along with it every day? You think you're just going to hang out and wait till something happen out of the sky? Before God come back and happen out of the sky, artificial intelligence will run this earth. If you that weak, yes, that is exactly what will happen. My mission is to tell you that this political stuff out here, you can play that game. I'm not trying to say don't play that game, but I am telling you where the satisfied life is. The satisfied life is by you engaging yourself. You got your career. You got yourself a job. And you chose it. And you chose it because it gives you your greatest joy when you're doing it. And it's so interconnected because it's designed by the powers that you can't see, but we're all connected together. And what happens? All the things of life that makes it possible for your will is one with God's will. And it's being done on earth just like it is in heaven. Why? Because the spirit of that power is in you. You don't have to lie. You don't have to cheat. You don't have to be a MAGA. You don't have to let somebody go down the street and laugh and lie saying they don't have. No, that stuff don't exist. Why? Because your needs are being met. Your wants are being met. Your desires are being met. And you're listening to a power that you can't see, but you're allowing it to live into you, live within you. And you ain't taking no jump. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where I'm going to be coming to you from now on. I want to tell you about the truth, about things that will bring comfort in life. I like to see people grow up. I like to see your children and my children grow up enjoying life, not having to worry about the crap that they have to worry about today. Do you know what's going on with your children tonight? Do you? Well, ask anybody. They will say yes. Some will say no. But you can bet one thing, they are not getting information about the life of love. They are not getting information about that which gives and brings about and guarantees a satisfied life. Why? Because that's not what's happening. No, I'm going to stop for now. Remember what I'm telling you. I'll be back probably tomorrow.